Hello?
Bonjour.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay, good. All right, hello everyone. Or do you do the intro?
No, I'm not doing an intro.
All right, hello everybody. My name is Sean. This is my cohort Hadley, and the first order of business that we wanted to get down was a little explanation of the last episode. Hadley, your turn, my friend.
Alright, so basically, every argument in the episode, every single argument, right? It was supposedly supposed to make people comment and decide so it would get on the recommended page. You know, to make it more popular and all that. Get people involved with it. However, there was a sudden shock of the rudeness of which I had done, correct?
Correct.
So, I'm here to send a formal apology saying how all of that was just a show, just a gimmick, like what you'd see on a TV show, right?
Mm-hmm.
None of that is true. None of that's true. I believe in none of that. I'm a positive character as much as possible, so I'd like to formally apologize for my actions.
You are forgiven.
I would hope so.
All right, next order of business.
I don't know what the next order is. You might explain.
The next order of business is supposed to be Minecraft 1.19.
Oh yeah. Okay. A mild update.
Yes, very mild. All it brings is a new structure, new mobs, new blocks, and
Where do we start?
start on what it was supposed to originally have. All of the features that were going to be added, that were announced at Minecon Live, I guess.
Do we want to touch about the Birch Forest?
Yeah.
Okay.
Talk about everything.
Oh, we're gonna be here for a while.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the Birch Forest.
Oh, really? What's that?
First, the only thing I support about it is it having tall trees. That is it.
That's definitely an upside for sure, especially if you're running.
Hear me out though, because every single new update in the wild update, I believe, should either be, they're kind of splitting it about two things, which they normally do, but one of them is the side about the warden and the deep dark and all that scary stuff. But then they have a whole different side about all this cute stuff about frogs and swamps, which, it's like they can't make up their mind, and they're trying to please everyone in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And now they scrapped the Birch Forest. They scrapped the idea.
Yeah.
Which again, I'm not even a fan of that, because it shows that they're not really knowing what they're like. They're not bringing in promises.
Well, they said that concept art isn't exactly a commitment, but most of the time what they concept art does get in, like one variant of the concept art that they make in, just like they did with the warden, they came up with like multiple concept arts and only one version of the warden got in, not all of them. So
I suppose so, but putting it on Minecon Live, not saying that it may not happen, I think is kind of a letdown for the community.
Yeah.
It's like promising that you're gonna make a video and then not filling up to do it. Yeah. It's just...
Yeah.
Moving on from
like
that.
Last week. Yeah.
I mean, you want to continue?
Yeah, like I was saying, like last week we said that we were going to upload another podcast, and I literally got the notification on my phone, podcast recording 10 to 11, And I was like, oh yeah, that's today. And I was thinking, oh man, it's either gonna be like right now or like sometime later in the day. I'm glad that we're getting to record it though. I'm
I'm
really
glad.
glad that we are.
I believe, other than the events of the first episode, it went really good.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Again, just a gimmick, but moving on. What about the Mangrove Swamps? What do you think about that?
I think that the mangrove swamps are pretty cool. Like they're adding mud, they're adding mangrove wood, they're adding mangrove roots, mangrove leaves, frogs, of course.
Yeah, I'm really glad that they're bringing in a new update for the swamp. They've been promising for it for a while, and it's really just not happened. Like for the biome vote, I was really a big fan of the swamp, that and the desert, and yeah, it was kind of just like you wanted it. So I'm glad they're finally bringing that, especially a big W for the frogs. But what do you think about the fireflies being got scrapped?
I am very sad that those got scrapped. They could have like added in a different species of fireflies because they were saying that some species of fireflies were poisonous to frogs. And like I was thinking, okay, so that's like most firefly variants. Can you add in like a non-toxic variant to Minecraft? Like I realize it's Minecraft and you're trying to make it realistic and all, but like adding a toxic mob for an animal to eat. I mean, you've got parrots eating cookies, chocolate chip cookies at that, and you've got like a bunch of these other made-up mobs like pillagers, illagers. Yeah, I thought I said villagers for a second. And you've got like LA as well. You've got a bunch of other stuff, and you've got completely different dimensions. And yet you won't add something that's just slightly not as realistic. I mean, that doesn't really make too much sense, but I mean, you do.
What I think they should have done for the firefly is keep it, but make a different frog variant that's like immune to it, that's kind of adapted to it. You know, frogs are
That's
one
a
of
good
the
idea.
frogs are one of the most easily adapted animals in the real world. So why not, like, if you're trying to imitate reality in some spaces, why not have a frog who's immune to it? And maybe like how they make the frog lights, have it excrement out this poisonous substance that you can use as arrows, poison it, kind of an easier version of a tipped arrow.
That's a very smart idea.
Again, they won't do it though, but they'll add pig people.
Mm-hmm.
All
Hey,
right.
who knows? Maybe Mojang will notice this episode and they'll be like, you know, these guys are actually kind of making a point.
Maybe not though. They're from Sweden. But moving on from that, what do you think about the LA overall? Because I know you were a copper.
The LA, I played around with the LA a few days ago, just trying to figure out how it works in general. I had a very tough time giving it an item because I play on controller and like I've got my sensitivity. I could probably put it up a little higher, honestly, but for now I'm keeping it where it is. And I tried to give it like a like deep slate or something, and I dropped some on the ground and it didn't pick it up as far as I could tell. I don't know if it was supposed to pick it up or not, because like this is just like the beta version and all. But like I still can't figure out how it works, honestly. Have you played around with it any?
I've played around with it some, and I'm really disappointed with it. I mean, again, almost all of this update for me has been a big disappointment. A good example would be the LA. Again, I'm a Copper Golem fan. I'm a big fan of having another Golem in the game. Again,
Same here.
the only real purpose, in my opinion, for the LA is the lore. But again, it's kind of disappointing. Which
And another thing with DLA is on controller. I know that this happens with Pocket Edition as well. When you tap, when you like have crosshairs activated, if you have those crosshairs over a mob, or if you just like just like hold and tap a mob for like a second, then like a little button above your hotbar will pop up that says like trade with a villager or milk a cow.
Yes.
And on controller, it's something similar, but it'll say like on the right side of the screen, like LT left trigger, and then the interact feature. With the allay, it said LT allay. And I was like, that's funny. Wouldn't this be like LT give block or something? Does that happen on Pocket Edition with you?
No, not really. Not that I can remember. Again, it's been like a couple weeks since I've tested it. And again, the only real, and I love the fact for the lore they put them in cages for mansions and stuff. Which again, you know, Pat, do some lore. Your favorite word.
Yeah.
But moving on from that, what do you think about pouches being removed or scrapped?
About what being removed?
Bundles. I've always called them pouches.
Bundles being removed. Yeah, I saw something about that on YouTube today, and I was like, really? They had some difficulties with them in Pocket Edition? I am really sad about that, but I mean, we have shulker boxes, I guess. I mean, bundles are just a better and cheaper way of, or just cheaper shulker boxes, I guess.
In my opinion, I feel like they could have fixed it in Pocket Edition. Because we've seen add-ons like the backpack add-on that I used and tested with you a couple weeks ago. That worked perfectly well. But again, I know, but I don't know, I feel like they could have fixed it or like saved it. Because again, that was a promised item, right? That was promised. They showed developments of that. I mean, we talked earlier about the Birch Forest, how that's just an image, a picture. This was an actual implemented item that they said they were going to bring to 1.17, and now they're just getting rid of it. Like, between that and the Warden, that's the main thing I was happy about bringing. But
Speaking of the Warden, have you played around with the Warden any?
a lot, and I want that to be kind of the main event of this episode, because there's one more thing that I want to talk about before we get into that, if that's okay with you.
Go right ahead.
What do you think about the horns, the goat horns?
The goat horns. I love the fact that they have different kinds of goat horns that play different kinds of notes. And if you're looking up, they play a different note. And if you're looking straight, they play a different note. And if you're crouching, they play a different note. I mean, that's like playing an instrument in real life. Like, you've got your fingers on a different chord and you're strumming a different chord. You've got your fingers in like all sorts of positions on the chords to play different notes. I feel like that's like what Mojang was trying to replicate with the goat horns and stuff.
Yes.
And then I also saw a Phoenix SC video or something, someone's video, I think it was an IBX Toy Cat video, that said that copper goat horns were just an experiment and they weren't going to be in the final update.
They're not.
Unfortunately, which I'm very sad about. Because I think they're really cool. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the main things. Again, another use for the copper that they got rid of. Again, but there's one thing about the goat horn, the normal one, I feel like they should implement. Do you know what that is?
What's that?
I believe if you're standing on a block, like, you know how they have note blocks if you put them on top of a gold block?
I see where you're going with this.
They make a sound, like, or kind of combine, or if you shout it into a note block that has it under a sink, it would make a sound.
That sounds like a nice idea.
Because it's not that difficult to implement. I mean, if you added copper horns, what's that sound?
Yeah.
But time for the grand finale of all this. What do you think about
the
deep dark, the Warden, ancient city, everything about this, the scary part?
I think that the Warden is definitely a terrifying mob, which is something brand new to Minecraft. It's the very first blind mob to Minecraft.
You guess
and what?
Do you consider bats blind, like bats?
No, bats use echolocation, and I think they can see, right? Right? They can see.
That's something that we need to talk about later. I'm curious about that.
Okay, yeah,
But
yeah, same.
the first blind hostile mob,
Yes, first blind hostile mob.
and
And how he tracks you is very interesting as well. Like detecting your vibrations in the ground.
yes, but there's one thing about the warden that I really want to talk about, and I don't think I've told you about it yet. You know
Okay, what's
Sonic,
that?
how they have that sonic boom?
Yeah.
Well, what if you're riding an elytra and you get hit by it? And you know how that has that
Oh,
huge knockback?
how it
Like
has that huge what?
this echolocation sound it uses has a huge knockback when you get hit by it. So imagine riding it with an elytra, how high you would go.
Oh,
Like
that's a very interesting thought.
you could capture a warden and have it use that sound as a kind of launching platform. I've just like that idea.
Sounds like a nice idea.
Instead of using fireworks, which would break it. So, and again,
That's a nice idea.
we already know that you plan on putting that in the dungeon against me. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
What do you think about the ancient cities? The loot, the design, everything, including the portal.
The design, I think, is definitely fitting for the ancient cities because they're ancient, and the portal design, I think, is very unique and reflects the warden.
Yes.
Because like that big rectangle part is the mouth, and then those two arches on the sides are the little
Flickering things on it.
sensors of the warden, his vibration sensors, his sculpt sensors on his head. And I think I heard somewhere underneath the portal is a redstone room where it's like
I've seen
a
it.
sort of quote unquote tutorial of redstone for people.
Again, it's just
And
force thing.
I feel like if they wanted to add a tutorial to Minecraft, they would make it way in the beginning. Because when I first started playing Minecraft, I drowned on the first day, and I was just like, thanks. I was just really curious about how the controls worked, and I barely figured out the controls.
One thing I feel like that Minecraft is great at is it not having a tutorial really. I feel like because then it makes you search about it and see all the YouTubers and all that. But again, I think they added the redstone just for the lore. I think to show that these ancient people were really smart and knew how to use this.
Yeah, show that the ancient people were kind of messing around with redstone and portal technology for lore.
What do you think about the music disc?
The newest one?
The newest one, 5.
I think it's very interesting.
Yeah, honestly, it's just the best song yet, other than Big Step. What else? Oh, what is your opinion on the portal? Do you think it's a portal? What do you think it is?
I feel like it is definitely going to be some form of lore. And with the music disc, if you listen to the disc, it does sound like a sort of portal opening up or being lit, and a player entering into a new dimension, like how you would light another portal. You just need to find the way to light it. I feel like there is a way already in game to light that portal. It's just that Mojang isn't telling us and is making us find it out. Like that redstone could have something to do with the portal to light it.
Honestly, I feel like they're going to implement the way to light it and everything about it later on. I think in 2 or 3 updates they'll do it. I think they're going to kind of do everything else before they add something else to it.
Yeah.
And then probably, I think that's about it, other than Minecraft chests with boats.
I love the chest boats. They're definitely going to be something that I implement into a future build in my creative world.
I feel like I won't use them much except for early game.
Yeah.
But I think that's about it, right? Am I missing anything?
Let's see.
Probably get remember.
I feel like we're gonna remember something after we record this, and we're like, shoot, we completely forgot to talk about this.
I don't think so. I think we got everything. It's really a mild update.
Yes.
Really disappointed with it. Other than the warden and everything about the deep dark, I'm just very disappointed with it.
Yeah, so now I think this is the part where we make an announcement about something or whatever.
Yes, I feel like next week episode's gonna be about the lore of our weapons and everything, right? Weapons, tools.
Yeah.
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 Excuse me.
You want to close off?